Hello everyone, I'm Marie Blue Angel, and today I'm playing Under the False Sky, Blood-Covered Snow. This is a visual novel that was released for the Winter Visual Novel Jam? I get that mixed up, from last year. And I'm very excited to check it out. Um, I know about the Under the False Sky because I am fortunate enough to have the opportunity to help with the development of another visual novel or in this universe rather, for NaNoWriMo 2024. And since all of that is still, developing and things, but it's kind of out of my hands as someone who is helping to proofread, I thought that in the meantime, I should check out this side story that takes place in the same universe, because I am kind of obsessed with the story. And I need to know more about characters that I've already met and characters I haven't met yet, and truly get a better understanding of what this universe is and who the characters are, and kind of get a sense of like the motivations and just the scenery and setting and all that. So I'm going to check out the game now, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very, 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 very excited about this. So without further ado, let me just click into the game. If I can find my mouse.
As transient as flowers that sway under the force of the ever-changing seasons, humans do not escape the march of time.
Oh, I have to click it.
A multitude of factors determine their survival. The weather, wild animals, nutrition. However, the biggest and most dangerous factor of their demise is themselves.
Not themselves. Not humanity v humanity.
While a lion may be capable of killing one or two of its kind, a human can obliterate a city in the blink of an eye, killing thousands, if not millions, without a second thought. But what do they gain from it? What is their reason for such heinous acts? Is it the pursuit of power? The aching greed and bitter jealousy that consumes the heart of an individual? Or is it the perversion of war? The twisted joy in observing the pain of less fortunate souls? There may never be a simple answer to such a complex question in the myriad eyes of man. Many tales recount such tragedies. Today's story is one of them.
Just one? My goodness.
Set in a world where people are forced to live within mobile cities, the arcs, a mere step outside might corrupt their fragile souls, turning them into savage monsters. In a world of imposed boundaries, to what end do these humans feel? Do they long for freedom? Or do they fear it?
Good question.
One of these poor souls is Mika, a miserable boy born during an ongoing 100-year conflict that enshrouded his meager existence. He has never known peace.
That's terrible.
Had he known that his actions would affect the lives of many, could he have taken a different course of action? Doesn't watching people discover the darkest depths of their being excite you?
Excite me? Ooh. Okay.
Mika!
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mika! Are you sleeping? Wake up! Wake up!
Okay. We're Mika. This is Mika. With your green coat and your necklace and your turtleneck. Okay. Great. Another thing to note here is that there's voice acting in here, which is wonderful. So, as me playing through this is going to be a lot easier in the sense that I'm going to keep to my voice while reading any of the parts that are unvoiced, not voiced rather. So we can keep things straight. I mean, if there's dialogue that's not read for some point or for some reason, then I'll fill in as best I can. But it's gonna be so exciting. I'm excited to see the voice acting here also. Um, but anyways, so we're Mika. We're the young boy. We've woken up. This is someone we know. I like their scarf. It's pink, and I like the cardigan that they're wearing. Very cute. A sharp pinch tore him painfully from his sleep. Just as the young boy Mika thought about leaping to his feet and chastising the troublesome being who dared to wake him in their place, he was caught off guard by the innocent eyes of the perpetrator, just a few inches away from him.
What? What are you doing here, Ada? Leave me alone.
Okay, this is Ada.
Oh, I'm really bored. Let's go on a walk together.
A walk sounds nice. Okay, so we're opening up with the scenery. It kind of looks like a train car. Like the window, and then there's like a table of sorts, and then a bench here. His haze of disbelief was cleared by a few seconds of a blinking Ada. Her audacity to waste Mika's time on something so trivial vexed him.
I thought I told you to leave me alone. Are you dense or something?
Is it so wrong for me to want to spend time with my brother?
That's a fair question.
Oh, you're so annoying. When will it sink in? We aren't family, and never will be.
A sad life. I feel sad for Ada already. Okay, so how do you guys know each other then?
You are such a big meanie! I'll tell Dad!
Yeah, go ahead and tell your incompetent joke of a father. What's he supposed to do? Run crying to my mother? Ah, I see. Okay, their parents got together. His hands gripped her arms tightly, dragging her to the side so that he was able to get up from the bed on which he had been sleeping soundly just a moment ago. With a final glare in the little girl's direction, he left her behind. From the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of her teary eyes, but that wasn't his problem. She only had herself to blame. Ooh. Okay, I'm oohing a lot because I'm like, wow, I'm finally seeing illustrations of this world. Where are we? Okay. It's very industrial looking. Lots of metal. It's a grayish sky. So we'll see. Once outside, Mika was greeted by an ice-cold gust that wasted no time turning his nose and cheeks a delicate shade of red. It's cold because it's winter. Allowing his gaze to wander over the barren yard, he saw local residents bustling around the camp, their minds focused on their daily tasks. The fact that days were getting shorter, the season colder, and resources scarcer meant that everyone in the camp, young and old, had to lend twice as much of a hand, if not 3 times as much. Curious, Mika slipped narrowly behind 2 rebellion members and shuffled towards the warehouse. The mechs, along with the cars, were parked there as well. Can we click on them? Rebellion. Oh, the glossary updated. Okay, I need to check the glossary. Okay. Ooh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 terms. Oh, we're not gonna know yet. Coming soon. Okay. I mean, I know what this is now. But we'll keep it for story purposes. I'm sure that will be revealed as we go through. He cautiously poked his head through the large gate. Everyone was absorbed in their work, just as they were in the yard, oblivious to his existence. While some were loading and unloading equipment into and out of cars, others were working on the mechs. Almost hypnotically, he stepped towards a particular model in the right-hand corner of the hall. At times like these, he cursed not being an adult yet. When could he finally pilot it? When could he When could he, like his
Oh, Mika, there you are. Ada was looking for you.
Oh, it's so echoey because we're in a big warehouse. Okay, who's this? The familiar, jovial voice of a man echoed through the hall in his direction, interrupting Mika's train of thought. A shiver ran down his spine. Straight from the frying pan and into the fire. Tracking the source of the voice, his eyes found Gabriel standing near his mech. The mere thought of it caused an inexplicable rage to seethe quietly within Mika. I think I read that sentence wrong. The mere thought of it caused an inexplicable rage to seethe quietly within Mika. Oh, you got a little bag, little scarf, little glasses. How fun. Who's Gabriel then? There was still distance between the two of them. Mika thought he still had the chance to turn around and make a run for it before being forced right back into the next conversation, knowing he'd potentially start a fight. Again. However, this was wishful thinking. Mika wanted to see Gabriel even less than Ada, who irritated him immensely. Yet there he was, blocking his path.
Hey! Where are you going? It wasn't my intention to scare you off.
Are you sure, Gabriel? I like your little scarf. It's like plaid. I love the scarves in these games. Or in this game, rather. The two that I've seen so far. I like all the winter gear that we have on. Very fun.
Scare me off? Yeah, right. Where I'm going is none of your business.
Oh, okay.
You seem upset. Even more than you usually are. Did something happen?
Oh, okay. Observant to Gabriel.
Did something happen, he says? Why were you at his mech? Who said you could just touch...
His barking was interrupted by the grip of someone firmly wrapping an arm around his neck, pulling him backward.
Who's doing that?
As he looked up, he locked eyes. His eyes locked with his mother's. Although she had a smile on her lips, something was glistening in her eyes.
Well, my dear. Are we giving poor Gabrielle a hard time again?
Okay, it's Gabriel. I was calling you Gabriel. Gabriel. It's Mari. Oh, so exciting. Okay. Okay, so this is your child. Without giving her son a chance to retort, she put him in a headlock and rubbed her fist over his scalp.
Mom, stop! I surrender.
Lol, how cute. She carefully let go of him and patted him on the shoulders as if she were dusting him off. Her hand slid to his cheek, raising his head so he couldn't avoid her gaze.
I was the one who asked Gabe to check the machine.
Makes sense.
But Mom!
No buts. I asked him to take a look because I know the mech means a lot to you.
Admitting defeat, he moved away from his mother and slumped his gaze toward the floor. In situations like this, he desperately wanted to start an argument. He just couldn't. Not with her.
Oh, Mika.
Mom, Dad!
Oh, okay. I see. I was like, why does this man look familiar? I was like, did I not just see a blonde girl earlier?
Oh!
I totally didn't read that. Logbook? Oh. Okay, I have to go all the way down because that's narration. Small footsteps hurried past him, and Mika saw little Ada leap into the arms of the slender man. Okay, because I was like, oh, y'all look alike. You both look alike. We love it. Okay, I was like, wow, these are your children. It's so clear to me, and I did not see that coming, apparently. It's fine.
Don't call her that.
Did you say something?
No.
The sound of Mari clapping her hands caused Mika to look up, startled. A sardonic grin crept onto her lips as if she'd had an epiphany. Her gaze drifted between Gabrielle and Mika.
Oh, I don't like seeing that grin on your face.
Me neither.
What are you gonna ask them to do?
I just had a wonderful idea. How about the three of you take a trip to the nearby forest and collect firewood?
Ooh, good idea.
But
Or is it? I don't know.
Mari, I don't think that's such a good idea.
I think that sounds like the worst idea ever. No, thank you. I refuse.
Yes! That sounds like fun!
See? Ada agrees with me. So it's decided.
I love that.
The carrier baskets for the firewood must be behind the main building. At least, that's where I last saw them. Gabe, would you mind getting them?
That sigh. The man grasped the little girl's hand and approached the gate. The moment the two passed Mika, he noticed a mischievous grin on Ada's face, not breaking eye contact. Whoops.
that little...
Just when Mika was about to follow them with his hands hidden in his jacket pockets, he was stopped by his mother, who gently grabbed his arm.
Yes?
Look, Mika, I know you aren't happy with this, but can you do me a favor and at least try to get along with Gabe? At least a little? For me?
They've only been in our camp for a year. How can you trust them so easily? What if he's a spy sent by those bastards?
Not a spy.
Language, young man. Is Iran teaching you these naughty words again?
Is Iran doing that?
Sorry. What I'm trying to say is, what if he's a spy sent by those jerks from the Arks, and is just being nice to you to betray us in the end?
You know exactly how unlikely that is. And no one could be a member of the Ark with a hybrid as a child.
Wait, was I supposed to click on them? Oh, I was. Oh my goodness.
What if he's a spy sent by those...
You know exactly how unlikely that is.
No.
And no one could be a member of the Ark with a hybrid as a child.
Oh, does it give it to me? It didn't give me hybrid. It's okay. She pointed her finger at her eyes, their irises sparkling in a blood-red color like Ada's. Even though Mika knew she was right, the uneasy feeling that had been growing in the pit of his stomach grew wider.
You worry far too much for your age.
Oh, okay. I'm just putting two and two together, that the red eyes, and Mari and Ada both have the red eyes, so that indicates being a hybrid. A hybrid, I'm not sure yet exactly what that is in the context of this visual novel, so we'll see.
And you don't worry enough for your age.
We shouldn't be worrying too much. That's too much stress.
Hey, that's mean.
That is mean, Mika. Even if it was done jokingly, lol.
All I want is for you to give him a little chance and get to know him better. He won't take your father's place, and I doubt he would even want to. And I think it would be good if you could become more friendly with Ada. I don't want you or her to be lonely. After all, you're the only children in this camp.
The only children? They must, at least to some extent, they should at least be somewhat friendly. They don't need to be the best of friends or anything. I agree with Mari.
Come on. Pinky promise?
Bewilderment spread across the boy's face as his counterpart swiftly extended her pinky towards him. Looking up from her finger, he saw his mother grinning and bobbing her head from side to side impatiently.
I promise that I won't be too hard on the guy. And as for Ada, I guess I'll tolerate her, as long as she doesn't push my buttons.
Reluctantly, he wrapped his small finger around hers, and just as he was about to withdraw, Mari took his wrist and swiftly pulled him into her tight embrace.
Ah, Mom, you're so embarrassing! Everyone's watching!
Oh, don't be embarrassed. We love hugs from our parents. Parents who care, like Mari.
So, who cares?
Although he reminded her they were not alone in the storehouse, she didn't let go of him. In fact, her grip grew even tighter.
Mom, I can't breathe.
Not the shaking.
Oh, right. I get it.
Gasping for air, he tapped her upper arm. It was evident to him that she seemed reluctant to let him go, but to his relief, not long after, she eased her grip, sharing a gentle smile with him before taking a step back.
You should follow Gabrielle and Ada. Don't leave them waiting for too long.
Yes, Mom. Let's go.
Well, you're the one who stopped me.
Oh, it's...
And keep in mind what we just talked about.
Fine.
I love you.
Aw.
Yeah, love you too, Mom.
Idiot. Okay, so new scene. Mika's off to go join Gabrielle and Ada. Now it's Mari's turn. POV. Okay. With her arms crossed in front of her torso, she watched her son leave the warehouse. As soon as he had disappeared from her line of sight, her shoulders relaxed in an instant, and a heavy sigh escaped from her lips. Why is raising children so difficult? I don't know, girl. Personally, anyone who raises children, I'm like, wow, how are you doing that? How did you do that? I think it's one of life's biggest mysteries, but it's not without its, ups and downs and all that. Knowing the situation was far from easy for Mika, especially with impending puberty, she couldn't help but feel weary. A little weary, rather. Every so often, she caught her thoughts wandering and her eyes lingering to the mech in the corner of the hall. It was his mech. Her chest instantaneously tightened. A pulsating pain spread rapidly through her body, her upper body.
Kine.
Okay, so there's Kine. So that's Mika's father, and your late husband. I was gonna say ex-husband. I was like, no, there's a word in English for that. Late husband. No, I shouldn't. He's gone. It's been 8 years now. I should get out of here to clear my head. Before leaving the hall, she glanced at the mech one last time. A mech to which so many beautiful yet painful memories were linked. Stepping out onto the open field of the abandoned industrial site, she could feel bricks in place of her aching heart. Ooh, farmland. Or forest, rather. Once outside, she looked towards the exit of the industrial site, and in the direction of the forest, a few 100 meters away. She hoped she might still be able to spot the silhouettes of Gabrielle and the children.
Ah, there they are.
Hi, children. Hi, Gabrielle. They were a long way off, and while Ada held tightly onto her father, Mika shuffled after them with his hands buried in his jacket pockets. She couldn't stop herself from cracking a smile. Of course. I doubt that he'll stick to our promise. He's my son, after all. Stubborn as hell. This blissful tranquility was short-lived, as a loud sound of scraping metal disrupted her thoughts. 2 mechs came into view just further west of the forest towards which the 3 were heading. Well, oh, okay, so that's good. These people are back. They're back. What a relief. There had only been one other time since that event 8 years ago where an excursion team had not made it back. Still, that particular feeling of unease resurfaced within Mari's mind every time. Like an eternal nightmare, a ghost that was clinging to her, wanting to drag her into the depths of the abyss by replaying this terrible memory in front of her eyes repeatedly. The endless pool of blood. The completely destroyed mechs. Empty. Without bodies. Never in her life had she felt as helpless as she did that day. She had vowed to do everything within her power to keep herself from feeling that way ever again. If not for herself, then for Mika.
Boss? Hey! Boss!
Yes?
Without realizing it, the tank-sized machines had closed the distance to their camp and built themselves up in front of the woman, casting a colossal shadow over her. With a swish, the windowed hatches of the machines flew open, revealing a dainty woman, emerging from the left mech. Subsequently, a rugged middle-aged man emerged from the mech on the right. The young woman slid down the metallic cover and landed in front of Mari effortlessly. The man, on the other hand...
Quitting smoking would do you some good, old man.
Uh-huh.
Is that really how you should talk to your seniors?
Sure.
See? You already got 1 foot in the grave.
Lol. Lol, this banter.
You!
It's always the same with them. Despite their stark differences, the duo facing Mari were undeniably a formidable team. Esther was known as an aggressor, and Aaron, as a marksman. I can't remember how the name was pronounced earlier. I'm so sorry. It'll come back to me later. They complemented each other perfectly on the battlefield. They were equally invaluable.
So, boss, what were you thinking about so absent-mindedly that you didn't even notice us?
I have to agree with the brat for once. It's rare to see you daydreaming. After all, it was your keen senses that turned our little colony into one of the most renowned rebellion factions.
Yes. I'm sorry. It's just... Anyway, give me a report on the results of your expedition.
For a brief moment, the young Esther looked up at her partner, biting her bottom lip. Her expression was strangely anxious.
Do you think we should tell her?
I mean, maybe?
Tell me what exactly.
Oh, it's nothing. Esta is just overreacting again.
I'm not.
Do you really want to bother our boss with something so...
Oran, shut your mouth and let Esther finish, or I'll sign you to Gabrielle for a while.
Oran, okay. With an O vowel. Okay, great. Okay, so were we telling Mari?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Anyone but that fucking guy.
Lol, what's your beef with Gabrielle? With every word he spoke, Oran made it everything but easier from himself. Oh, how Mari would have loved to break his neck on the spot, but that would have been a waste of good manpower, and that was something they couldn't afford to lose, given the circumstances. Oran also seemed to have noticed this, as he quickly bit his bottom lip and took a step back, his arms crossed and his eyes fixed on the ground.
So, Esta, please continue.
Sometimes I forget how scary you can be, boss. Fortunately, I think before I speak, unlike a certain someone.
Neither one of you really do that.
Esta?
Right!
Once again, the young woman's face darkened into a serious expression. Before coming closer, she carefully checked her surroundings as if she was ensuring that no one was listening in.
I think I think the military's here.
Oh, military.
You think what?
Told you, Esther.
Shut your mouth. I wasn't talking to you. What makes you think that? Have you seen anyone?
It's not that I saw someone, but rather something. As we entered the mountain area behind the forest, I noticed mech traces in the ground, and the models definitely didn't resemble ours.
Oh, okay.
And when I followed them, the tracks ended at a certain point, so I don't know where exactly they lead to, or to whom they belong, but I think it's something worth reporting.
I think it's something worth reporting. This isn't just something worth reporting. This is damn serious.
Shit.
And? What are you planning to do?
Esther,
Yes, boss?
I want you to contact the main faction. Preferably yesterday.
The main faction?
They both say.
Boss, this is ridiculous!
Even the Mari would like to believe Iran and had hoped that this was just another one of Esther's crazy daydreams. Her gut told her a very different story, especially after that mission that they carried out for the main faction just a few weeks ago. If it truly was a mech of the Ark, they should start praying to whatever god was at hand.
Say, Dad?
Yes, baby? What's the matter?
When we're done collecting firewood, can you make me some hot cocoa?
Aw, that's cute.
I don't think we have any left. I mean, we are short on resources. Let's do it this way. If we still have any supplies, I'll make you some. How's that?
Oh, sorry.
That sounds amazing! Thank you, Dad!
I accidentally cut you off, Gabrielle. My bad, I'm sorry.
And how about you, Mika? Huh? Mika?
Huh? What do you want?
Without realizing it, Mika's attention was fixated on the mechs not far from them, approaching the camp. The sound of the metal and the slight vibration coming from the ground were like music to his ears. What he give to?
I asked if you also want a hot chocolate when we get back.
No, I don't need it. I'm not a little kid anymore.
Oh my gosh, I want hot chocolate. Who or what does he think I am?
Oh, okay then.
Oh, very awkward relationship right now. Mika's eyes met Ada's as she continued to cling to her father, shooting him a strange look.
Well, more for me.
What's wrong with her? Does she want to fight or something? Oh, how he wished he could throw a stupid line right back at her, but the promise he had made to his mother echoed through his head. So, biting his tongue and keeping his mouth shut, he trotted after the two of them. His focus settled on the fog escaping from him with every breath. Despite the scarcity of snow on the ground, frigid winter temperatures seeped into the young boy's fingertips and toes. Ugh, why did I give in and agree to this? I'd rather just be in bed. Ooh, forest. Just a few minutes later, they arrived at the entrance to the forest. In front of them, gigantic, seemingly endless trees extended before their eyes. Their bare treetops moved in perfect harmony with the winter wind. With a shiver running down his spine, Mika buried his hands deeper into his jacket pockets, coming to a halt alongside the others. Just as he was about to proceed on his path, a thick pink scarf suddenly whipped mercilessly across his face, obscuring his view.
Ah! My scarf!
Can't you take better care of your stuff?
I like that we get like a little window of the other characters when they're like in the scene but not really in the scene. That's really fun. She quickly pulled away from her father's hand and paced towards him tentatively. Rather clumsily and roughly, he wrapped the scarf back around her neck and tied it in a knot.
Ah! Not so tight! Or I can't breathe!
If you get sick now, you'll just be an even bigger burden to me.
Thank you, Mika.
Aww. Instead of running back to her father as he had expected, she paused and briefly looked up at him, which he returned with bewilderment. On the brink of chasing her away, he was taken aback as she unexpectedly gripped his hand, her face adorned with a radiant smile.
Just because I put the scarf back on you doesn't mean... Ugh.
His mother's words were once again swirling inside his mind. To be honest, he was too tired and cold for any further protesting. He decided to tolerate her invasive behavior, for now. With Ada in tow, he caught up to Gabrielle, who had been idling patiently for the two of them. The irritating smile that frequently annoyed Mika had returned and sat plastered across his face.
What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing, Mika. Not you two children being adorable. Together, they entered the forest with Gabrielle as their guide. Mika felt colder with each step. He would have to fight with all his might to keep his body warm if it weren't for her. Ada's hand, warm and almost burning, encircled his icy cold hand, offering his body a little of the warmth it craved. She seemed to have noticed his gaze on her as her grip tightened and her smile got even wider than Mika thought would be humanely possible.
Guess there's something good about being a hybrid.
Lol.
You think?
Well, you'd always have a warm body and wouldn't freeze in this godforsaken cold.
You have warm bodies naturally? Okay.
I've never seen it like that before. If you want to, we can hold hands more often. Then you'll be less cold.
No, I think I'll pass.
Abruptly, Gabrielle came to a halt, causing the two children to almost run into him.
Ugh. Can't you be more careful?
I think this might be a good spot for us to collect wood.
Okay. He put his basket down and gestured for them to do the same.
But there aren't really many branches lying around here.
It's better this way than walking too deep into the forest. Otherwise, we might get lost or it might get dark before we leave. I would like us to get back at the camp before sunset.
Mika felt the pleasant warmth slowly slipping away from him as Ada let go of his hand and hurried to her dad, who began picking up scattered branches, cradling them in his arms.
Come, Mika. Please lend a hand.
I don't get it. What's so bad about going deeper into the forest? Are you scared or something?
I don't think it's safe. We're also not in mech. Like, I'm assuming Gabrielle uses a mech. He's not in a mech. And he has children with him.
Mika, I just told you the reason.
Nothing but excuses.
I don't understand what Mom sees in you. You're not even strong enough to protect anyone.
Girl, why would you say that?
You can't even pilot a mech. All you do is write in your stupid books, and that's it.
Oh, is he like a researcher or something? Or a writer? Okay, that's fine. You don't need to pilot a mech if you don't want to. Why already pilots a mech? That's great. Gabrielle's mouth opened a gap. In disbelief about what he had heard, he cleared his throat.
Just 'cause Dad's weak doesn't mean he doesn't do anything for the colony.
Does anything for the colony, my ass.
Hey! Stop right there, Mika! Come back here!
Leave me alone!
Are you running? He didn't listen to what his pretend stepfather told him. He was fed up with his cowardly behavior. If they were going to do this, they should do it right. He'll prove to him what a loser he is. He'll collect much more wood than them. Then maybe his mother will finally realize that Gabrielle isn't good enough for her. With motivation blurred in anger, he pushed deeper and deeper into the forest, leaving Gabrielle's calls far behind as he was swallowed into its endless depths. Why would we go deeper into the forest? I wouldn't know how to get back on my own, to be honest. Especially if it's like later in the day. Mika had lost track of time, but each passing second began to feel like an eternity. Gabrielle's shouts had long since faded in the distance, and the only thing accompanying him and the only thing accompanying his growingly timid footsteps were the branches dancing from the ice-cold wind. Loath as he was to admit, he missed the warm hand that had given him so much comfort just a few minutes ago. Taken aback by his own thoughts, he shook his head. Stop going crazy. I will never accept them. Never. He still remembered that fateful day as well. It had been far too hot, and yet Iran, like the saddest he is, made him run countless laps around the training ground. That evening, under an unforgivingly cold rain, Gabrielle collapsed at the camp gates, desperately cradling an unconscious Ada. That was the day his mother and Gabrielle had met. Not a single day since then was ever the same. I couldn't stand that guy from the very beginning. Young Mika had always harbored suspicions about his excessively friendly demeanor, a smile and an eagerness to assist everyone without expecting anything in return. Someone like that could only be driven by ulterior motives. Hell, he didn't even yell at Mika, though he was so harsh and derogatory to him. He just simply endured it. If he wasn't evil to the core, he might just be stupid. For him, there was no other explanation. Why wouldn't his mother just realize that? Why was he the only one to see the truth? Whatever may come, he would never approve of him, especially not as his father. What right did he have to simply try and take his place? I don't think he's trying to do that, but okay.
Why am I the only one?
Why are you blurring?
Why does nobody believe me? All of them are idiots.
Giving in to his feelings, he buried his face in his hands and slumped to the ground. Only the vapid, momentary warmth offered by the tears falling onto his skin comforted him. As if both his body and his soul were longing for it, a loud scream escaped his lips and echoed through the forest. At that moment, it didn't matter whether anyone heard him or not. Although his throat began to ache, he felt free. The crushing weight of feeling unseen and unheard had dissipated, if only for that brief moment. Weary from the scream, he pulled himself laboriously back to his feet. The last of his tears had already dried on his cheeks from the freezing winds. Slacking off wasn't an option anymore. After all, he had a mission to fulfill. He had to prove to his mother that she could live without Gabrielle and Ada. He didn't need a new father and sister.
Just wait and see. I'll show you.
With newfound energy, he began to rapidly collect branches scattered on the ground and toss them haphazardly into his basket. Within just a few minutes, he had cleared the ground around him in its entirety. Ha! I bet they haven't collected as much as me yet. I should go deeper into the forest. Maybe I'll find even more. Shouldn't you just go back? You probably collected so many branches at this point. Fixed on his only goal, he continued on his way. Come what may, he would. Ooh. The sound of a branch snapping made his body freeze up. The noise hasn't been made by him. It hadn't been. No, the source must have been hiding behind the dense undergrowth not far from him. Maybe it was just an animal. But what if it was a chimera? No, that couldn't be. This region should have been cleared of chimeras. Initially battling with his curiosity, he eventually gave in and moved silently in the direction the noise originated from. He carefully pushed the thicket of branches and bushes aside and stepped into a wide clearing. In its center sat a man, a complete stranger.
Who's there? Show yourself.
Hello, man. Are you injured? At first, the stranger turned to look in all directions, but when their eyes met, his mouth swung open.
What? A child?
You look fancy. Where are you from? Where are you coming from? The man's shoulders relaxed slightly, and the muscles in his face eased up.
What are you doing out here so deep in the forest?
I could ask you the same thing. I've never seen you around here before.
I actually come from there.
Where? Where are you pointing? The man pointed to the top of the steep incline, not far from the clearing.
Well, I'm a mercenary. I was on that hill to get an overview of the area. But I lost my balance and fell down.
It's kind of funny.
Come again? You fell down from up there? How the hell are you still alive?
Fair questions.
You could say I was blessed with a lot of luck.
Mika slowly walked closer to the man. As he came to stop in front of him, he placed the basket on the ground before kneeling down to next to the man's stretched out legs. Oopsies. He didn't know where this sudden willingness to help came from, but something about him made him curious. It's almost as if he had seen him somewhere before. Have you?
What's got you so curious, boy?
I want to take a look at your leg. The way it's twisted. I doubt that you'll have much longer to live if you can't get up. Especially in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And why would you want to help a stranger?
Don't know. Just feel like it. And I've got time.
Not the blushing. He's like, In the absence of any elaboration, Mika began to search his basket for a straight and robust stick. Once he had found one, he turned his attention back to the injury. The sight of it made him swallow heavily. It wasn't as bad as it looked, but it certainly wasn't in the best shape.
Do you have a camp somewhere around here? The only thing I can do right now is give you basic first aid. You would have to do the rest yourself.
Reaching into the depths of his jacket pocket, he pulled out a bandage roll. He always carried little things like this with him. Better safe than sorry. Being completely honest, he never thought it would come to actual use.
Excuse me.
Mika recognized a spark of curiosity in the man's eyes as he moved closer to the leg. Being gawked at like that made him feel a little nervous. Without waiting any longer, he positioned the leg in front of him in a relatively straight position so he could place the stick on it for the needed support.
Might hurt.
Don't worry. I've been through worse.
Another few minutes passed in silence. With great discipline, Mika carefully splinted his leg by wrapping the bandage around the stick and securing it in place. Good job. Why am I helping him? I don't even know him. Do I? Well, if I didn't help him, he might die. But is that my problem? The latter thought caused his mother's words to echo in his head. He'd already forgotten how often she drilled this into him. No matter what, if a person who has done nothing to you is injured, you must help them. After all, this is what humans should do.
Your eyes are all red. Have you been crying, child?
Yup.
No, don't call me that. I'm not a child anymore.
You're like 13.
What's wrong with being a child?
There's nothing wrong with being a child.
Children are weak, and they can't protect anyone. Not even the people they love. They are pathetic.
Oof, not the trauma from losing his father. For a moment, the stranger looked at him bewildered. A look Mika couldn't really put his finger on. His expression exuded a mixture of astonishment, sorrow, and pity.
What makes you say that? Childhood is a beautiful thing. Not one child on this earth should be forced to grow up so quickly. What's your name, boy?
Mika.
Look, Mika. It's crucial to cherish your youth and the simplicity of life, to make the most out of every day. Because this moment is far too fleeting.
True.
You'll grow up soon enough. You can worry about things like that when you're older.
feel like that's what a lot of adults feel like. They're like, yeah, childhood was so... It was just different. It was obviously, sure, probably negatives to it to some senses, except you were a kid. You didn't know a bunch of things. You were blissfully ignorant. Or at least I know I was blissfully ignorant of anything, so kind of miss those days. For sure. Definitely it's a great reminder to take it slow. Don't wish to grow up so fast. Enjoy that part of your youth, particularly. But anyways.
Old man?
Old man.
You can call me Keenan.
Keenan, okay.
Keenan, could it be that you didn't just hurt your leg when you fell, but also your head?
Wow, what a roast.
Maybe. Anyways, who taught you to take such good care of injuries? The way you've stabilized my leg is stellar.
I was gonna say, I don't know how to do that.
My mother taught me. She insisted it'd come in handy one day. Guess she was right.
Now that I think about it, why are you so deep in the forest alone at that? Shouldn't your mother be with you?
Upon hearing his question, his mood began to sour again, causing his grip on the end of the bandage to tighten.
Mom is at home. I'm here with an incompetent guy who wants to call himself my stepfather, and my fake sister.
I see. Aren't they treating you well?
Well, you should be able to stand up now.
Not avoiding the question. Slowly, Mika got back to his feet. His knees began to tingle from sitting for so long, reaching out his arms to help the man up. I mean, this is a grown adult. Of course, it'd be difficult for like a 13-year-old to like really support them and lift them up a bit. To his surprise, Keenan was even bigger than he had initially expected. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm butchering names because I like hear I'm like, yeah, I'll remember. And then I don't know. So I will correct myself once I hear the name again pronounced, but I will forget. So hopefully it is Keenan. I think it was Keenan. With all his strength, he had to use his own weight to be able to heave him up.
Man, you were heavy.
That's all muscles.
Yup. All the muscles.
So, are you able to walk back to your camp on your own, or do you need help?
Yeah, I think I should be.
Mika! Mika, where are you?
Ada. Kanan's sentence was interrupted partway by a familiar yet unnerving voice.
Ugh.
Mika swiveled toward the undergrowth that the voice was projecting from. Moments later, the blonde girl stumbled out of the thicket, accompanied by the loud rustling of bushes.
Watch it!
Bushes. Bushes? Bushes. I was like, that is not the right vowel. Unintentionally, almost autonomously, his legs moved toward her. Rather harshly, he pulled her back on her legs and brushed the dirt off her clothes. An exasperated sigh dissolved the awkward silence.
There you are.
You really should be more careful. If you get your dress dirty, I'm going to be the one who has to wash it again.
Thank you, Mika. Hey, Dad! I found him!
It wasn't long before Gabriel stumbled out of the same undergrowth. His hair was all ruffled and his glasses almost slid off his nose.
Thank God. Do you know how worried I was? You stubborn boy!
He's like, I was like, you must have been hella worried, my dude. Without Mika's permission, Gabrielle desperately grabbed him by the arm, pulling him into an embrace. He could feel his slender body trembling. Was it from the cold?
Please don't ever run away like this again. Ever. Or at least if you do, run home instead.
That's true.
Fine. Now let me go.
He cares. Gabriel cares, Mika. And Ada too. Why is he so overdramatic? After being reluctantly released from Gabrielle's embrace, he stumbled back to catch his breath. His gaze fell on the baskets on their backs. A sly grin had formed on his lips, a grin so wide that it hurt the corners of his mouth.
Huh?
They were completely empty. He won. I mean, they were probably looking for you, that's why, and not really looking for branches.
You seem to be okay. That's the most important part, but tell me, what are you doing here?
I helped that man there. He was injured and...
Is he not there anymore? He turned to the center of the clearing where he had pulled the injured man back on his feet just a few seconds ago. However, was this man from the military? I just put 2 and 2 together. Maybe.
Where is he?
How is this possible? Why are children here? Kanon managed to shelter himself behind one of the broad trees, avoiding discovery by the girl and the man. His cover was almost blown by that boy already. As soon as the 3 had left the clearing and the sounds of their presence had faded, he steadily limped out of his hiding spot.
This is bad. Real bad.
You must be from the military. His attention drifted to the edge from which he had fallen earlier. He wondered if his comrades were already out looking for him. He had to return soon, or they'd run into the children. Seemingly this is military, with your little tents and stuff. By the time he reached his base, the landscape had begun to drape under the encroaching night. The temperature had fallen to sub-zero digits. Ooh! He saw a duet of shadows scurrying frantically towards him.
Commander! Where have you been? We've been worried sick.
The 2 who rushed towards him were his direct subordinates, Nam and Yona. Okay, wait. Okay, Nam and Yona. Okay. While Nam was always a somewhat energetic and talkative young man, Yona was quite the opposite, a reserved and introverted young woman.
What happened to your leg?
While exploring the area, something happened and I fell down a hill.
A hill?
Don't worry, it should be healed by now.
Healed by now?
Man, Commander, what I wouldn't give to be a guardian like you.
Guardian? What does it mean to be a guardian?
Don't be foolish, Nahum.
Oh, great. I was so worried that I've been saying Nahum this, basically wrong the entire time. But it is Nahum. Okay. The taller woman elbowed her companion sharply in the ribs, causing him to gasp for air.
Hey! That hurts!
Grow up.
A gentle smile graced the man's lips. The banter between the 2 always reminded him of his own children. Time and time again, little Noah would do everything in her power to tease some reaction of the otherwise calm Gideon.
What's on your mind, sir?
So the injury's still... Yona! What's wrong with you?
Great, I was also saying Yona's name correctly in my head this entire time. Love it.
I told you not to be a fool. Our commander wouldn't be set back by such a minor injury.
Who was it that said there would be no children in the rebellion camp?
It was in one of the documents written by the professor. Besides, this is a warrior colony. They never have children around.
They do. Who's the professor? Kanon fell silent and scratched his chin. A heavy panging began to clutch his stomach.
May I ask what made you think about that, Commander? Could it be that you came across these individuals?
Okay, Yona asking some good questions.
I knew it. How many children did you see?
I've only seen 2, and not directly in their camp. So is anyone's guess how many more there actually are?
Who cares if there are children there or not? It's not like they cared about that while they wiped my home off the map.
Okay, past events have happened.
For once, I have to agree with him. Better to put them out of their misery before they turn into depraved monsters themselves.
Shocked, he glanced at the 2 subordinates, taking a step back as he struggled to believe his ears.
They're still children. Even if they're part of the rebels, the rebellion's wrongdoings don't extend to them. They're innocent. It makes us the very same monsters you speak of.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. I expected you two to know better.
Well, why'd you expect that? I've seen things from Nam and well, less of Yona, but whatever. Nam and Yona. Won't say anything, but in the other visual novel in development right now, both of them, but especially Nam. How do you know each other? I want to
Commander,
know.
forgive me for overstepping my boundaries, but we have very little choice. Our mission is to wipe out the entire camp and all its people. No exceptions. Not even you can avoid those orders, because they come from Her Highness herself.
Her Highness, okay.
The fact that half the royal family were wiped out in the attack means that she takes this very personally.
Okay.
And let me remind you that Her Highness's 6-year-old son was also a victim.
The young man crossed his arms behind his head. A terrifying grin grew on his face. Even Kanan, a man hardened by the cold steel of a long military career, was overcome with a brief shiver.
I will go to great lengths to carry out this mission for Her Highness. The chance to finally see the Deathbringer the rebellion again and rip away everything she holds dear gets me excited!
Okay. I'm connecting things for things that I know, but okay. This is interesting. So this is like pretty... Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the timeline from this visual novel to the upcoming one. And it's very interesting. I wonder how long it's been.
If you'll excuse me, sir, I'll be getting ready now. I can hardly contain my excitement.
You're ready, Nam. Okay.
Nahum. He simply hasn't been the same since that day. I hope his desire for revenge doesn't cost him his own head one day.
A chilling silence gave Kanan's eyes an excuse to wander over to the base. A week ago, he had set off for that rebellion camp with a special squad consisting of the best units the military had to offer. Each and every one of his troop harbored a burning desire for revenge. He knew that each one would gladly give their life for it if it meant that they could take even a single rebel down with them.
Commander, if I may, we should begin preparing ourselves. The other units are already on standby. Many of them are in a similarly joyful mood, like that fool. I hope you know what I mean by that, Commander. Unfortunately, your personal ideals and morals will be ignored today. You'll inevitably have to accept this.
Hey, Brat! Don't forget this!
Hey! Careful! Don't just throw stuff around!
You should just be more cautious. If you're not careful, you'll eventually catch a stray bullet in that airhead of yours.
Stop arguing. We have an important mission ahead of us. The last thing I need right now is two quarreling dogs yapping at each other.
Sorry, boss.
Okay, so that was a lot of information. So the military is near the rebellion camp, and I'm assuming that Mari, Esther, and Oran are going to go check it out. Let's see how that goes. After a long and heated debate, they finally agreed to set off for the spot Esther had mentioned right before sunset. Even though it might end up being nothing, Mari knew she wouldn't be able to put her mind at ease if she didn't see for herself. Time wasn't on their side. If the military really was nearby, they had to get there before them at a time when they were least alert. It had to be at night.
What are you all doing? Are you going on a trip?
Little Ada's bumbling voice echoed through the warehouse. Her small, brisk steps grew increasingly louder before abruptly stopping in front of Mari's mech. Ada looked up curiously, towered by the mech's imposing stature. Oh no, I was hoping they wouldn't come back until we'd already left. Mari swiftly pulled herself out of the cockpit and slid down the mech to get to the young girl. Fleetingly, she could feel the confused and concerned looks of Gabrielle and Mika on her as they both made their way towards her and Ada. To her surprise, only Mika's basket was filled to the brim with a bouquet of twigs and branches.
Mom? Where are you going?
Mari sensed the girl's warm hands clasping hers, all the while enamored by wide puppy eyes. Her poor heart tightened. What should she tell her? What should she say to Gabrielle and her son?
Oh, Aran, Esta, and I are only going on a teeny tiny expedition.
Again? Weren't the two of them just coming back from one?
On days like these, she cursed her boy's quick wit.
Hey, my man. How's it going? Have you even ordered to collect resources again? Ooh, come with me for a sec. I'll show you something really cool.
Trying to distract him. He slung one arm over Mika's shoulders and the other around Ada's waist to lift her up. With the two of them in tow, he dragged the children out of the hall, drowning out Ada's grumbling by complimenting Mika's basket of twigs.
Hey! Let me go!
Albeit with great protest, the children were successfully removed from the hall. Mari could feel the rigid crick in her neck slowly starting to unravel.
Mari, what's going on?
How should I put this? The military is here.
What?
It's just a maybe for now. Esta said she saw tracks during the expedition. We're planning to leave and take a closer look around the area.
Do you know what this means?
I know.
The look on his face spoke volumes.
That's why we're going to the spot as a precaution. Please don't say anything to the children. I don't want them to be more worried than absolutely necessary.
Mari.
It'll be fine. We will be fine.
Aw, cute little CG. Standing on tiptoes, she gently placed her lips on his cheek. As she tried to break away from him, he pulled her closer. This time, he closed her lips with his in an intimate kiss. They're cute. Oh, be safe. I'm worried. I'm worried. Okay, it's fine. She sensed his wordless desperation and uncertainty, the fear of letting her go into the unknown.
Time out. Leave me some air to breathe. What's the matter? You're acting like I won't come back.
Esta. Clearing her throat, Esta drew attention to herself. She motioned to her wrist and then outside.
We don't have much time, boss. I think we better get this over with as soon as possible.
You're right.
She enclosed her hands around Gabrielle's for the last time and gave him a gentle smile.
Please take good care of the children. I know Mika could be a handful sometimes, but he really doesn't mean it, and...
I know. Don't worry. I'll take good care of him. I promise. We'll see each other again tonight anyway, right?
Right.
I'm scared, guys.
Thank you.
Would you like to say goodbye to them?
No. Better not.
Okay, I'm going to cut it here because this is great and all. But I've just realized how much time has passed. It's been a bit, so I kind of have to go. So we're gonna pause here. I don't know how do I save. Okay, we're gonna figure that out. Oh, I click here. Duh. Okay, we'll click there. Anyways, this is so great. I'm really loving the story. I feel like I'm connecting between this story and the one that's in development that will be soon. It'll be out soon-ish. When does it come out? I think it comes out, I think it's beginning of April, if not like the end of the month. So, of this month, so of March. So it's very exciting. I haven't really said anything about the connections between what I know, just because spoilers, but also check out Under the False Sky when it does come out. the visual novel, when the visual novel does come out, the new one, rather. I don't know technically what the title is, for this game jam. But anyways, I really like that. Yeah, I like everything about this. It'll be interesting to see how this ends in this side story. So, I will leave that for next time to keep pondering all the things that could happen. And I'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like the video, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see the next part of this visual novel. And I also post other visual novels on my channel, so if you want to check those out, that'd be awesome too. Anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!